Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the Saigon podcast. In this conversation, we have Hawk from Helpful Hawk Healing. He's a trauma recovery hypno coach calling us straight from Kentucky, USA. We call about once a month to catch up, so we figured out why not make this call into a podcast? Why not? This whole week, I've been thinking about why do I even make these podcast episodes? It's like I honestly forgot. Before shooting episode 1, I remember thinking, I want to leave this as some kind of diary thing that my future kids can listen to. I'm not sure exactly what to think now. Now it kind of feels like if these videos, if this content is helping you, then this is for you, whoever you are.
Oh, now he can't see me. Oh, there I am. Hi, me.
Yo.
Technology.
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up, brother?
Just chilling, man. Oof. I've had a week full of parent-teacher meetings, and today was the fourth day in a row.
That's fun.
Yeah. Dude, ooh, check this out. What do you think about this? I've had some parents come in and basically ask me why their kid sucks at English, and actually that kid is one of the best in the class.
Yeah.
Dude, one of my students,
Oriental narcissism.
I have a student in my class today. She's one of my best students. And when her dad came in to talk to us, he was asking us to tell him something wrong about his daughter. Like, tell me where all her mistakes are. And it's like he didn't even look happy when we told them how good she's doing.
Yep. Oriental narcissism.
Damn, man. But the
How
kid,
many how many of those kids that go through that system, how many of those kids have you known that or have heard of that committed suicide when they were in high school?
I don't know if we have those stats over here, but what is it over there in the US?
We'll see. We don't have the same kind of system over here. We've got No Child Left Behind, which is teaching them to be dumb and not be responsible. We don't want anybody to feel bad about themselves. No, we want them to learn to lift themselves up. But by the same token, you get over to the East and they've got you must please the family.
Yeah, it's true.
You must not
Keep-
dishonor the family.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I watched there's this channel called Dust on YouTube, and sci-fi, and some of it's straight up science fiction out there, laser blasters and all that stuff. But some of it's make you think. And there was one specifically about a young Vietnamese guy that was his journal was walking around, and finally at the end he doesn't die, but his journal's been walking around, and it finally makes its way from him to somebody else to save his life.
Mm.
And I was like, wow. And it's specific, if I'm not mistaken, in the description it said this is not an uncommon occurrence in Vietnam. I was like, wow.
The pressure is real.
Yeah, it's like, like Vishnakakiani talks about, you want to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer.
Yeah.
You don't get any choice. Your family says you're going to be that.
Mm.
So it's a tribalistic thing. Tribalistic mentality of you must learn to be a warrior. But then there's also the added pressure of if you make a mistake, I'm going to point it out to you for the rest of your life, as opposed to letting it be your learning experience.
Mm.
And they don't understand that criticism withers and praise builds. Praise criticize, praise. That's our standard model in coaching and things like that, right?
Mm,
So, but that's not in the cultural norm, and that's not in the cultural norm in America either.
true. I wonder how long it will take for that to be a norm.
All of us waking up together.
Ah, actually, this topic has been coming up a lot recently. How would you define waking up?
Self awareness, being aware that you aren't the body, being aware of what your body is capable of, and what your mind is capable of, and what your heart is capable of, and being in control of those things.
Mm,
Because just because you woke up and you opened the curtain and looked out the window and saw it was bright outside, then when you step out there, who's responsible? You got to learn how to be responsible for yourself, which
mm,
is where the agreements of the Toltecs and the Yamas and the Yamasu Yoga and the Golden Rule come.
mm,
If you're holding yourself in your center, there's nothing anybody can do to pull you out of it.
mm.
Not that I'm perfect, that means no
Yeah,
means am I perfect at that, but it's like little bitty steps.
yeah, for sure. It's like a metamorphosis type of thing.
Transformation, evolution.
It's like Eckhart Tolle predicts that, or yeah, or he mentioned something like right now humans are at the stage of Homo sapiens and they're moving towards a new phase of what he's calling Homo conscious.
Well, I don't think he's talking about woke culture either, which is to me a step
Exactly.
backwards.
It's something else. Right. So you said like waking up is like self-awareness, like realizing who we are. So then comes like the next question. So like who or what are we?
We're infinite spiritual beings having a limited human experience. As far as my experience goes, that's my feeling about it.
Cool.
This ain't me. This is 37 to 100 trillion me's working together as a we. So I've got an earth suit.
Mm. Like when was the first time that you had that feeling that like I'm not my body?
I guess I was 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, I was outside looking down at me. And then it happened again. I was in my bedroom sleeping at night and looking down at me.
Cool.
It scared the shit out of me.
Damn, I bet. Damn, that must have been, and you were so young too.
Well, not only that, but I had a pastor for a dad and a pastor's wife for a pastor's daughter for a mom. That's evil stuff.
Right. Oh my gosh. What did they say about your dream?
I never said anything about it. And the
Mm.
one wasn't a dream. The one was me sitting out on the front porch, and then I kept hearing a buzzing above my head.
Wow.
I went like this and almost caught a hummingbird.
Dang.
Yeah. And so while my hands were like this, then I was looking down and saw where the hummingbird was. Looked down and saw me and where the hummingbird was. That was weird. I've always been I've always been in what I call a slipstream. It's like some days the world is like this to me. Like this eye is seeing different than this eye, and this is a mirror with two sides. It's like
Cool.
so I'm just walking down the world like that. It's weird, and
Mm.
that's the only way I know to describe it.
Mm. Cool.
No, not really.
What do you see?
Not for, not from the human suit point of view. Well, one of them is like totally like, oh wow, let it go. That's all consciousness, blah blah blah, and the other one's all like, the
Oh,
people are
right.
bothering me. It's like, and I'm walking down the middle of that, and it's like, it goes beyond straight edge. It's like, yeah, I'm walking in the edge, not just on it.
Mm. Yeah, what is that thing that's talking?
That's the mind.
Hmm.
So what have you been up to
I've
as
just
far as these questions go?
like just like my passion is to just dig into this as deep as possible.
I've been the one main project I've been working on. I've actually got a script as a side note. I actually got a script to start doing videos where I'll shoot a video and then break three parts out of it for shorts, as
Cool.
opposed to shooting a short every day.
Mm.
That way, it's like 3 days of shorts, one video, and then maybe once or twice a month still live. But the latest project I've been working on, as far as something working with others, is I'm reading through Code of the Extraordinary Mind with my sons, and we discuss it on Thursdays.
Wow, dude. Dang, that's awesome.
Yep, we did it a few years ago with the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Wow. With your
And
sons, right?
pardon?
With your sons?
Yes,
Dang, what did they think about that book?
did I give them books like this, and I'm like, whatever you do with this information, I'm just going to make sure that you have this information. But then when we're out or doing something, it's I can tell they're working to live similar to that. And sometimes things will happen and they'll say, oh, that was this agreement or the other agreement without me prompting.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. And I think part of it is they're with me, so they're hyper aware, so it's like, and then it's like something will happen in traffic and it's like the younger one usually will say, well, that wasn't the first agreement, was it? Or that wasn't the second agreement.
Cool.
Somebody will go by giving me the finger, well, that's not the second agreement, you know. So it's cool to see it percolate back. This, I mean, have you read Code of the Extraordinary Mind?
I haven't.
Oh, dude,
Let me look up
dude,
some key arguments right now. When I
because
haven't read
it's
a
like,
book, the one thing I can do is ask our AI slave for help.
yeah, that's Vishen big deal, man. That and the Buddha and the Badass.
Nice. Yeah, Code of the Extraordinary Mind, right? Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually got on Mind Valley. There's the Be Extraordinary Quest.
Mm. Okay, let's see. It says this book presents a framework for breaking free from societal conditioning and creating a life on your own terms. Okay. Oh, right. He mentioned the rules, the bullshit rules.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, of course. Like, um, 4 levels of living. It says, ah, cool. Living in the culture scape, following societal norms without question. I wonder what percentage of the world lives in that stage.
my guesstimation is probably where they're aware of it. Um, I'd say less than 1 to 2%.
Mm, cool.
Active daily seeing things. It may be more than that, but you got to realize how much that culture scape also and rules goes into religion and stuff, and where they're just because a person's spiritual doesn't mean they're not living by rules.
Exactly. That's
I
true.
mean, how many rules did I live by when I was into shamanism?
Mm-mm.
Like here, I'm reading all these how-to books, and the how-to is just sit down and shut up, boy.
It feels like now that I see this, it feels like even the ego can be one of these rules.
It is. It's the harshest taskmaster of all. You got to realize the ego contains the shadow.
Right, that makes sense, right? It's something has to obstruct the light.
I'll tell you one book I'm looking forward to finishing, and that's this one,
Let me see.
The Shadow Effect.
Ah, wait. I can't see the image right now, but oh wait, can I see again? Oh, Deepak Chopra is good. Damn.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra, Devi Ford, and Marianne Williamson. Um, I'll pick a book, and I've done this since 2020. I pick a book and I read in it every single day, front to back, you know, just keep reading over and over and over again for a year.
Hmm.
But I'm ready to be done with that one.
Dang.
It's like to the point where I've gotten to where if I underlined everything I wanted to remember, I'd underline every line in the book. But what I've done recently is just started going back and looking at the places I've underlined and I'm reading those because
Hmm.
I know there's something there that's sticking out for me. And I'm a speed reader, so I can read the other stuff in between. But I like to, since I like the taste and feel and smell and everything of language, I like to sit and read it and, be eloquent with it. And it's like, I'm done. I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to April 1st and a new book. I don't know what the new book is, but I'm getting this one put down for a while.
What is this book called again?
The Shadow Effect.
Ah, right. Okay, okay. Want to look it up?
And dude, it's a very awesome book.
I believe it. Okay, I'm looking it up right now. The shadow effect explores the concept of the shadow in psychology and spirituality. It says the shadow consists of parts of ourselves that we hide because they are seen as unacceptable. It says when we ignore our shadow, it controls us from behind the scenes. That's
Yep.
true. That's so true.
Okay. Conscious mind, 40 to 100 trillion bits per second, or 40 to 100 bits per second. Subconscious mind, 4 to 8 million bits per second. Who's in control?
Dang.
Non-conscious mind, trillions of bits per second. So you got this little bitty tiny screen into, the operating system, but the operating system's the one in control.
Hmm.
You don't have to think step right foot, left foot, right foot, left
Right.
foot. Driving a car, if it's a route you've taken regularly, you don't even think about it. Some days you get in the car and then you're getting out of the car and you're like, how did I get here? The
Right.
subconscious was doing the driving.
It's like muscle memory almost, right? Or something, but
It's all memory.
Hmm. Here it says healing requires acknowledging and integrating the shadow, not fighting it.
Yep.
It makes sense, right? By accepting and understanding our darker aspects, we free ourselves from shame and fear. And it says self-love and transformation can come from making peace with all parts of ourselves.
It's if you take rapid transformational therapy, mix in a healthy dose of meditation, and do that every day, it's basically what shadow work is.
Mm. Here's something that I didn't expect to see. Our shadow contains not only our pain, but also our hidden strengths.
Yeah. There's the light shadow too. Who am I to be the rock star? Who am I to be the super linguist? Who am I to be the bright shining star of this situation? Who am I to be the great author?
That's what happened to me. That's what my mind has been telling me a lot. It's almost
Yeah.
like a false humbleness.
I like the blue glasses, by
Oh,
the way.
maybe. Yeah, oh my God. When I first got them, I felt actual fear, like of people judging me for it. And also like because this is really weird now to say like my eyes were so adjusting to the new glass, like to the new measurement. And I felt a bit dizzy, and that made me even more self-conscious. Later, when my eyes got used to the glasses and everything looked normal, Suddenly I got less self-conscious. It's like I forgot that I was wearing the glasses. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these little blue almost frames I've had since 2002, I guess.
Mm,
I bought them at Walmart.
cool.
Originally, they were just strictly for down here,
Mm,
but now then it's like, oh, this helps a lot better now.
nice.
The
Yeah.
ones I usually wear have a bifocal right here, and then they're just normal at the top. But
Ah, yeah, true.
these, if I'm not at work and don't have to filter those lights, that switching between the two focal depths is annoying. And that's a good analogy for how it is when I talked about walking through the mirror. It's like, you know, I can see you clearly here. I can't really see you clearly here, but it's like two distinct ways of, like if one eye is seeing clearly and one's blurry.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, you're seeing two separate situations.
Oh shit, damn. True.
So what is your latest project?
Hmm. I've been hosting some discussion groups here in the city. It's been really fun. And I was like really shy to make it about spirituality and stuff, but the last one that we did actually was finally on spirituality. And people did show up and we still had a good time.
Yeah, it's life can be interesting when you just go with the flow.
Mm. Even these classes are part of that going with the flow because like I'm still like building my coaching brand base like my personal brand and stuff. And something in my mind challenged me like, why don't you get blue glasses? It's your favorite color. And I just tried it.
Um,
It's like a gut feeling thing.
Pardon?
It's like sometimes these gut feelings just appear and if I'm aware of it, I'll see if I'm brave enough to do it.
They didn't get it shut. Okay. Pardon me, roommate interaction.
I don't know.
Do you have a roommate?
No. Right now I'm living alone.
Big place, small place.
It's a studio, but it has enough room for a couch and a TV, surprisingly enough. And oh my gosh, yeah, my dad and my grandparents came to visit me last year, and yeah, we all stayed here in my studio.
I'll bet that was fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. My dad had never been to Vietnam, and my grandparents had never been to Asia.
So I'm taking it was the Cabrejos.
Yeah, that's true. The Cabrejos
So,
family.
so is your mom Latina?
Yeah, she is, and she's Gonzalez.
I know my Spanish is getting better because I've got a guy comes in up at work and we talk, and also then there's customers that come in, and I'll try to throw out some jokes or something here and there and tease them about whatever they're buying, especially if they're buying beer or something. I'll tease them about it, and
What do you say about the beard?
it's like, necesito más cervezas. No trabaja mañana.
Nice.
Necesito más cervezas. I tease them about, you got to get more. I mean, they're coming up there sometimes with 4 24 packs, and I'm teasing them, you need to go get more. Why you're drinking so little. But uh, it's just, little things. The main thing is being able to joke. If I can tell a joke, because I've got a strange mind when it comes to jokes. And a lot of people don't get them in English that speak English. So, if I can pull off a joke in a language that I'm not well versed in, yeah, I figure I'm successful. And the thing about it is, I've asked several people that, I've been interacting with for a year or two. It's like, how are my habilidades de conversacionales? And they're like, you're really good, actually.
Cool.
And it's like, and I said, well, what about my accent? And they're like, that needs a little work. But then again, accents are accents. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point now I can tell two out of the main Mexican accents. Cubans, I don't spot them immediately, but it's like a little bit of a little bit of interaction with them, and boom, it's like, oh, okay. There's certain ways that they slur certain sounds into each other that I
Yeah.
can hear. Puerto Ricans, fast. They talk like machine guns.
I believe it. Yeah.
And then El Salvadorans are kind of like, they're real relaxed
Cool.
and semi proper, but very relaxed about it. They're not like, I believe, they're like, kind of like the Southern gentleman of Virginia or South Carolina, someplace like that, where he would be speaking with an accent, but he's speaking very properly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they kind of strike me.
Cool.
I'm not understanding it all,
Mm.
but I understand enough of a percentage to get the overall meaning.
Nice.
And I've learned a way to be able to say, you know, when they like Marlboro NXT, that's one of their favorite brands of cigarettes.
Mm.
And they always come in Nexty. It's like, I had to teach them, and I've been teaching them NXT. No, in, like la palabra, in, you got to make it's NXT. It's not the sound. It's, you're
Mm.
saying the name of the letter, not the sound of the letter. And then they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, no, you're saying it in Spanish. You got to say this in English. Nobody understands you. Oh, and then they'll practice. And this one kid came in, and it was like a week. And finally he comes in, he's like, NXT. And I said, much better, he was really frustrated because what it really irks me with Americans. A lot of Americans, which Americans is the Western Hemisphere, okay? North Pole to almost the South Pole, it's America.
Mm.
But Americans, and they're like, they want to come up here and make us learn to talk Spanish. And I'm like, you can't even talk English. But they're hoping you will teach them English so they can teach you Spanish more than taco and quesadilla.
Oh my gosh. We met this awesome kid from Guatemala. He spoke Spanish and another dialect from whatever place he's from.
One thing about when I go to Peru, I think the language is Aguaro. I don't remember it at the moment.
Mm.
And it's the language of the mountain people.
Quechua.
Yeah, the Quechua.
The Quechua.
And they're, from what I'm reading, I read some book. Shirley MacLaine wrote a book called Going Within that I read back in like 1988. And that was my first description of what meditation actually is and everything like that. And I was like, oh, so that's what I've been doing. I'm glad somebody explained it to me. This makes sense now. Okay. I thought it was me messing with stuff I shouldn't be messing with. And now it makes sense that, okay, I'm kind of doing it right. But she was in Peru. She was in the mountains of Peru and was taught that way. And from what I can see from
Um,
that and reading a few other books here and there about people that have mentioned the Peruvians, or Peruvians, um, they're very similar to the Toltec in Mexico.
mm,
So it's, it's interesting. The one thing I like about Don Miguel's books is it interests my shamanic side.
cool.
And, yoga, Shiva came and talked to all the shamans and started finding out the common threads and took all the common threads and said, okay, are these all the common threads? And they were like, yeah. And that's how he codified yoga.
Mm, cool.
Yeah. So it's like, it's, it's our consciousness, man. Okay. Here's a book by Deepak Chopra.
Mm,
If I can get the light on it, can you read that?
yeah, creating affluence, wealth
Okay.
consciousness.
So the thing about this is he's teaching specifically working directly with the quantum field.
Mm,
Like I don't have, and the one thing I've realized is that the ceremonies and rituals and things that did not pull these beings in to do these, what it did was it opened me up to the quantum experience. I'm not saying there aren't beings. I'm not saying they weren't called in by things I did, but it opened me up to be able to experience an expanded state.
mm.
Does that make sense?
What does it feel like?
Huh?
What does it feel like?
When it was a really good, I
Mm.
don't remember.
Ah, okay.
When it was really good, I wasn't there.
Cool. Is that like what
I've
they
actually
call like
done
samadhi?
ceremony and charged the phone.
Mm.
Like there was so much energy moving the phone. Just I'd be like, well, I hope the phone stays on to get this, and it's like it's sitting at 30 something percent, and I'm wanting to actual get something on video so I can look at it and say, okay, what do I need to do different? And then come out and everything, and I'm tired, and I look over at the phone, and it's sitting on 99%.
Mm. Oh shit.
It's pretty that's pretty wild. Energy's energy. It's all energy. So letting go of this being me and being all of the energy that it is,
Mm.
that's the challenge.
Dang, I just recently with a friend we started talking about ego death. What suggestions would you have for someone who's just starting this process?
Ego death.
Yeah.
I don't believe in ego death.
Mm. Ah, true. I mean, yeah, that makes sense too. What should we do about the ego?
Integrate your shadow.
Mm.
If you kill your ego, you're killing your survival mechanism. So what people are calling ego death, take off the mask and lay it down. That's all that is.
Mm.
Instead of putting up there, well, I'm the biggest, baddest, whatever. You don't have to be.
Yeah, right. Because that person wouldn't even exist.
Who are you portraying? Well, I'm portraying a guy that's portraying a guy that's portraying, and
Right.
no.
Yeah.
So, what am I portraying here? I'm portraying a human being that's finding his way.
Mm.
You know, that's this lifetime. But as far as ego death goes, I don't believe you can kill the ego for one. But if you do kill the ego, you've killed off your survival mechanism.
But then now you're saying that like ego death would imply that what like your body would stop automatically breathing or something? Like your natural way that your body works.
The way I look at it is the ego is the survival mechanism and is necessary. And it's the
Mm.
repository of all the things we learn and hold on to that we need for survival. Now, it holds on to with an iron claw many things that we don't need, the rules and stuff like that. So you're not killing the ego, you're transforming its view of itself.
Mm.
That's the way I look at it.
Mm.
It's a transformation and evolution, a change, but it's not killing it. The ego death. You need to kill your ego. No, what you're lamely talking about is you need to kill your narcissistic impulses and your masks and put all that stuff down. Okay, I agree with cleaning house and getting rid of that stuff, but to me, ego, when it's used psychologically, is a description of a part of the psyche that is necessary. It's part of the I am awareness, and it's part of the I am awareness that I present to the world. Now, then, am I presenting it authentically? Am I portraying what's in here authentically? Or
Mm.
am I portraying some mask so that I don't get hurt?
Mm.
So, me, an ego death would be just taking off the mask and burning it
Mm.
or whatever.
True, that makes sense. Taking off the mask.
I mean, I'm not against transformation, and
Mm.
I'm not against letting go of egoic situations that hold us back, like arrogance and things like that. But it's a matter of you know all these people push ego death, and they're misusing the term ego, in
Um,
my opinion.
there's like different definitions of it, right? Like they have like the Freudian version, they have the I don't know what to call it. I don't know what's the other one.
Freudian, Jungian, there's all kinds. Well, and the people say the concept of the shadow comes from Jung. I love Jung, but he's not the one that originated the concept of the shadow.
Mm.
He codified it really well. He started learning from Freud. Freud has 3 levels of consciousness, and he's like, no. Jung takes it to 5 and said there's probably a sixth or seventh even.
Um,
So in yoga there are 6 levels of consciousness. It's like, well, okay, Jung's getting really, really close on there.
cool.
One thing that Freud did was he let go of mesmerism or hypnosis.
Mm.
And why did he let go of it? Because he wasn't good at inductions. He couldn't get people into trance. So he said, well, this is useless. When it actually is not, it's the most useful tool, because anything we're telling ourselves, I am not, I can, I cannot, I do not, that's self-suggestion. And all hypnosis is accepting external suggestion. So it basically takes the place of our own self-suggester. We're always hypnotizing ourselves.
Mm.
And anytime that you're sitting in front of a group of people and speaking, they're all paying attention to you, or even one person sitting, speaking, paying attention to you, you have in some way suggested to them, paying attention to me is a good idea. And now then your suggestions are being accepted by them. When we're working with clients, that's the state that we're in, the rapport that we're in, as we have suggested to them our expertise is going to help them, and they're accepting it. They have suggested to themselves it would be a good idea to listen to us. And then we ask the questions to pull things out and make suggestions based on them. It's all
Mm.
hypnosis. It's all fooling ourselves that the matrix isn't real.
Mm. It's like installing belief stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's like the way I view ego is just identity.
To a great degree, but it's identity to the bone.
What does that mean?
It's like the mask is because it's more than skin deep.
Yeah.
You know, okay, you've got the public face of the celebrity, then you've got the private face of the celebrity. You've got my public face and my private face, but I work to make my public and private face completely correlative.
Mm.
Not everybody does that. That's where we get egomaniacs, and that's where we get ego death coming in the slang and stuff like that. Is like, their shadow has so much control over them that they can only live the mask.
Mm.
And I don't claim to be any expert in that field.
Mm.
I've read Jung, I've read some Freud, but it's like,
Like my goal
And
is
he,
to be that expert on this field. This is my like I love it. That's all I think about every day. It's so weird. And
it's a trip.
I don't have many friends to talk about it with.
Well, thanks a lot. I mean, I admit it's once every twice a month or once every 2 months, but still. Which actually, um, I'm back in a gym. I didn't go this week because I've been not feeling good, but I've been paying attention to, to the burnout thing. And that's actually what my first video is going to be about when I come back is like how to avoid burnout. Because I mean, I literally was right there on the line. Like,
Hmm.
you go any farther, there ain't no going back.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's why I chopped everything out and gave 2 weeks notice at the part-time job and blocked it off too. It's like, nope, I haven't come this far to go down this road again.
Hmm.
Because I've been that way a couple of times, working 2 jobs at a time and still trying to have a family, or working two, three, 4 jobs at a time and still trying to be in bands. I've been there. And
Hmm.
this time it was like, you're not going to come back from this one if you don't stop now. So and I've had a client that, said, I'm really looking forward to you getting back to daily videos. I said, I don't know if I'll be doing daily videos again. I know I want to get back into doing weekly videos and then having shorts that I pull out of that.
Hmm.
And they were like, well,
Yeah.
they really inspire me. And I'm like, I understand, but it's a matter of what I'm capable of doing with the time. And considering that, you know, say 38 hours of my week is spent at work or going to or from work, I've got to look at that. Okay, I've got 130 hours left, and a third of that time is going to be in sleep, and I've got to budget my time,
Hmm.
and which I was not doing. But from editing can be a pain.
Yeah, that's why now I only use AI to edit, honestly. To make the short reels, I just use AI. It does it for me in like 10 minutes. I don't have to do anything.
I'm still old school. When I'm writing a book, I'll write it on paper by hand and then type it in the computer.
Hmm.
Like, I'll sit there and type, and one thing about it is I'll have this handwritten thing, and if I want to make an adjustment or something, instead of erasing on the original, I'll go back and I'll just type it in.
Hmm.
It's a lot easier to do that way for me. It's that mechanical skill is a necessary thing. I didn't grow up typing.
Hmm.
I don't know as much about certain things as I'd like to.
Hmm.
But then again, what I want to know about and what I can do with it, I'm doing. And I've thought about doing some AI stuff, and I'm like, right now, I'm just kind of, I just finished reading a book about AI over the spring and
Hmm.
summer that I had bought a couple of years ago. And it's like, I don't know how much of my personal power I want to give away of that. So it's, there's part of my egoic mask. It's like,
Hmm.
part of me wants to be, yeah, I write it. Yeah, on my pictures, I draw them. You know,
Hmm.
and I've played with 3D programs and made some great pictures and stuff like that. But it's like, that's part of my egoic mask is no, I do this way. It's like it's not superior, it's just
Oh.
different.
Yo, like, okay, so I think you should try this. Like, next video you make should be a long form video. And then after you finish that, just stick it into the AI and see the results and see what your ego says in that moment.
What do you mean stick it into the AI?
So like there's this website where you stick it, you give it like you upload your long form video into it it's gonna chop it up into short videos for you, and it knows when you talked about specific topics in your video. So when it makes the shorts for you, the conversation is always relevant to something specific.
What AI is it?
This is called Vizard.ai, some
Is
website.
it right? Is it a subscription service?
If you want like unlimited, or if you want more minutes to make into short reels, and you pay, but the free version gives you like 2,000 minutes per month or something. And I don't know how long is going to be your video.
And see, and I actually like going into VSDC and playing with editing. You
It
know,
is fun.
playing
It's really
with it.
fun. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm from a kid, you know, building, making things. I really like to go in and actually, instead of, you know, it's not like my soup that I was putting together over there waiting on the call, where I was pouring the beans in and they'll sit there and soak and then it'll cook, and you know, and then come back later and throw the vegetables in and stuff like that. When you're building a house, you know, I like the actual hands-on stuff, and it's like speed reading. I can read it over 1,000 words per minute with comprehension,
Mm.
not a problem. I literally like to sit and feel myself enunciating those words, and that's a much longer form of reading.
True.
So it's they're all pluses and minuses. I've been looking at some of the AI artwork,
Yeah.
and they're getting to the point where it's like, wow, you know,
Pretty real.
it's
Even videos too.
oh, the hair blowing and sweat glistening on the skin and stuff. It's like, wow,
Yep.
it's freaky. And the thing
Mhm.
about it is like, you know, in the context of what I'm looking at, it's like, okay, I want to look at sundresses. So when I get a girlfriend, I can order a pretty sundress for her. And I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, something doesn't look right. And then I look down below it, and it's like AI model. I'm like, wow, no wonder she doesn't have any zits.
Uh, they have like extra fingers sometimes, like a sixth finger, or like it's like a little glitch sometimes.
There's been some that I've seen where people are specifically playing with it just to mess with stuff and mess stuff up. And it's like, you know, all of a sudden the guy will pull his hand out of his pocket and his leg comes with him or something like, you know, just strange stuff. You know, it's like I had an idea, and he'll touch his head, and then it's like his finger comes out the other side and things. It's just, I'm like, y'all are playing Bugs Bunny with this. Okay, I get it. But oh well. Well, man, I'm going to get off here and get me some breakfast so you can get you some
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah. All right, man. Sounds good. And actually, I'm gonna shove this conversation into the AI, so you'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. See you later.
Now let's go, brother.
Take care. Hasta luego.